Welcome to NBA Today with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
Coming up on NBA Today, we got takeaways from last night's Mile High Thriller. Who did we learn more about, the Nuggets or the Rockets? And yes, you'll also hear from Ime Udoka after the spicy showdown. Plus, Cooper Flagg, his first 40-point game. So what he did last night that put him in the same company as LeBron, Melo, KD, and Anthony Edwards. Also, my exclusive conversation with Victor Wembanyama, how he's readying his Spurs for the Cup championship. Find out next. NBA Today starts right now. Hey, the Eastern Conference hopeful and a rising giant in the West. It all goes down tonight for a chance at winning the third ever NBA Cup. And yesterday, Wemby and Jalen Brunson, they spoke about what's at stake for their respective teams. Take a listen.
It's a high-stakes game that both teams are going to be very invested in winning. So it just shows that, we are preparing and we will pass the next step for more significant games in the playoffs. But as competitors, this is the complicated explanation, but it's simple as that. As competitors, we want to win every game, and this one brings something new on the table, so we want to win it even more.
You're going out there competing, you're playing for more than just yourself. You're playing for your team, your organization, and your city. There's a lot at stake besides the record. So you go out there and compete no matter what.
Timmy Goodtime's taking a break from the Blackjacks table to come and spend a little bit of time with us here on NBA Today. Hey, Tim, this is a huge game that we get to see tonight between the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks. What are the Knicks saying about their mindset ahead of this ethical cup matchup here?
Well, Malika, for the Knicks, they have not raised any sort of championship banner to the rafters at Madison Square Garden since 1973, when they won the second of their two NBA championships. So, yes, this is not the Larry O'Brien trophy, but for the Knicks, this is a chance to do something they haven't done in more than 50 years. And it is something that they hope will be a springboard for them to have postseason success, like obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder did last year when they got to the Cup championship game, went on to win the NBA title, and the Indiana Pacers did the year before when they came out of nowhere after making the Cup finals, made the conference finals 2 years ago, and then obviously beat the Knicks in the conference finals last year to go on to the league's championship round. And for the Knicks to do that, Malika, obviously you just referenced Victor Wembanyama earlier. One thing Jalen Brunson talked about yesterday, the Knicks have to get Victor Wembanyama away from the paint. It's obviously a real challenge to do that. In the minutes Victor's out there, we'll see how many he's able to play today. Expect the Knicks to try to keep the ball movement they had in Saturday's win over Orlando when they had a great showing against one of the best defensive teams in the league. Try to get Victor moving around, maybe take away some of his energy and get him away from the paint. Get Jalen Brunson a chance to get another 40 points like he did in Saturday's win.
Absolutely. It's easier said than done, keeping Victor Wembanyama out of the paint. Tim, thank you very much. I'll see you in a couple of hours at tonight's game in Vegas. But as Tim alluded to, it has been a while since the Knicks have won an NBA championship. The last one, it was 52 years ago. It was back in 1973. Remember, they got to the finals twice, though, since then. They lost to the Rockets in 1994, and then they lost to the Spurs in 1999. So once again, the Spurs stand in their way of something significant. Not a championship, but an NBA Cup. So let's get to that other side of this. San Antonio here, as we say hello to our Michael C. right here. Michael, this is one of Wemby's biggest game, if not the biggest game he has played in thus far in his career. And of course, in the last game, we saw him on a minutes restriction. We saw him come off of the bench. So what is the plan here in the Cup final?
Well, Malika, I would not expect a full workload for Victor Wembanyama. Expect him to play somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 minutes, something like that. Now, Spurs coach Mitch Johnson said that just because Victor came back in that semifinals win over OKC, that does not mean he's 100% back. You've got to remember, this guy is coming off a 12-game absence, and so they need to really ease him back into the mix. Now, Victor Wembanyama said yesterday that he will have some input into the direction that they ultimately go here. Now, that means there could be a chance that Victor comes off the bench again like he did in that semifinals game against OKC. In the first half of that game, I got a text from a source that told me that the Spurs were looking to strategically maximize Victor's minutes. So that could very well be the case here, but it's important to note again that Victor will have a say in this.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, particularly because on that minutes restriction, by him coming off of the bench and not playing in that first quarter, where was he available? He was available at the end of the game when it was a tight one, and they needed him to be able to close out the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that's going to be something that's interesting to watch. Michael C. Wright is on the case for us. We will come back to you if you have any updates on Victor's status here, because the Stars, they are going to be out in Vegas. But of course, the Stars are also out in our studio. Our own Chiney Ogwumike, our own Danny Green. I feel like a game show host. Well, let's start with Jalen Brunson here today and what you're watching for from him.
Malika, there are some games that you never forget. Do you remember this? In March of 2024, Jalen Brunson scored a career-high 61 points against who? The Spurs. That's the second most points in Knicks history, behind only Melo's 62. Respect to the legend.
The real Melo.
I'm going to break down how he's able to play this fencing match. You're funny, Danny, because you play fencing trying to know when to strike. This is drop coverage. Great read by Brunson, who averages 29 points per game. The defender is late, Jeremy, and he strikes in the mid-range. Again, when there's a pick-and-roll situation, this time in transition, Wemby is off of the ball, which means he's going to attack. Wemby tends to go back thinking that it's a full attack to the rim. Instead, look at this nice drag dribble to create separation on his kill spot, which is the elbow. Expect Jalen Brunson to have more plays just like that.
Yeah, but that was year one, Victor Wembanyama. This is year three. It's a lot different. The clips that we're about to show you, as you can see, with him on the floor, they rank second, top 3 in the league. With him off the floor, 22nd. It's a big difference with him off the floor. But as these clips will show you, he's a lot different this year than he was in year one. As he's up on the screen, see this arm? Look at this hand. That's SGA. He wasn't doing that with Brunson. Now it's deterring SGA to get that pull up, that mid-range. He has to kick it back to Dort, get back and box out. He's covering a lot of ground. Here is where the IQ comes into place. Look at this pre-switch. He's telling the guards to get up so he can get down. They're trying to bring him away from the paint with a big on the perimeter, like Isaiah Hartenstein, like Chet Holmgren. He says, no, we're going to switch the guards out and make sure I can get to the paint where I'm not in rotation and everybody can run around and he can still protect the rim. So it's going to be a very different Wembanyama than it was in year one.
You're right. And that's why Jalen Brunson is saying we've got to keep him out of the paint. It's not just because he can dunk on your head. It's because the attention that he can pull and on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Back to NBA Today.
So Cooper Flagg made some history last night as the Mavericks faced off against the Utah Jazz. He's been on a tear lately, and he continued it in this game. He came out aggressive in this one. He scored 24 points, Chiney, in the first half.
I like the physicality that he has embraced. And by the way, I know our producer isn't here, but the Jazz, they're kind of fun to watch. They're high-flying, but I like the confidence he's built from 3 levels of the game.
He's only 18, right?
Yeah. And this is a game down the stretch here. So the Mavs down by 3. We pick it up with about a minute to go here. Flagg drives to the paint and then finishes it here, plus the foul.
Strong left-hand finish. I like it. So, like Chiney was saying, the confidence is building, and he's showing it.
Well, we'll go into overtime in this one. Keontae George, though, he's been balling.
He has. He has been a bright spot, not just for the Jazz, but also the future of the NBA here. Nice, beautiful pitch to the corner.
Ooh, Lowry.
Lowry there for the putback and the slam.
Sunnies.
So the Jazz here go on to finish this one, spoiling Flagg's 42-point game. But here's Flagg on his career night.
I think it's just, my teammates putting me in the right positions, let me get myself out there, give me that confidence. And, I just saw, a lot of gaps out there tonight and wanted to take advantage of it. It's tough, though. I want to look at it, wins and losses. Obviously, we didn't win, so it's tough for me to, want to be happy or any of that. But obviously, it's, it's success, and, we're going to try and keep getting better from here.
He's 19. You confuse me, Danny.
How many days are there in a year?
365.
Good job. All right, Flagg became the first 18-year-old, to your point, Danny, to score 40 in an NBA game. LeBron James had been the youngest player to score 40 previously. He did it at 19 years and 88 days against Richard Jefferson and his Nets.
Take it, Richard.
You guys caught us as we were coming out of that sound debating over how many
days are in a year.
All right, let's run through some notable teenagers to also put up 40, shall we here? Because, of course, we'll start with LeBron James. 43 times this is a teenager, and as mentioned, one was against our friend Richard. Any chance to mention that? And then babyface Bron, he shot 15 of 29 from the field en route to a Cavaliers comeback in the win. Richard had 35, though, in the loss.
Justice for Richard.
How about Carmelo Anthony?
Hello.
2004, this one was against the Sonics. 19 of 29 for 41 points. Only 1 free throw attempted, by the way. Ethical basketball. Kevin Durant as a Supersonic in 2008 against his future team, the Golden State Warriors. Easy money, 42 points. 13 and 6 here in a Seattle win. All right, how about
similar he still looks?
Just a couple of years ago in 2021, Anthony Edwards in Phoenix. This was his first time. He had an additional 40-point night a month later, all before turning 20 years old. So, Cooper's 40 piece, it was one of 5 games on the slate last night. How about we go coast to coast on some of the other action here? Why don't we start with Jurassic Park? Starting with the Raptors, snapped a 4-game losing streak. Brandon Ingram, 28 in this one against the Heat, but the Heat, their loss extends to 5, their streak there. So, Danny, what's going on with Miami?
I mean, I love what Toronto's doing, but on Miami side, they're playing free, which could be a good and bad thing. And lately, we've seen a lot of bad. Too many ill-advised shots, not enough defense on the perimeter, but guys are just taking bad contested shots, and we need to see better, more efficient shots. Obviously, they have injuries, too. So.
How about the Grizzlies? Handed the Clippers their 20th loss in 26 games. Oof. All right, led by 31 points, Jaren Jackson, 27 from Cam Spencer, friend of the show, off the bench. Not all good news for Memphis, though. John Morant left late in the third with an ankle injury. Chiney, how concerning is that?
It's tough because this is a team that has not had the consistency to be successful. They're currently under 500. They're 9th in the West. I do want to credit Jaren Jackson Jr. shot 70% from the field, but still, you need that continuity for them to make a push upward.
And you need John Morant being the jaw that we have
That would
seen,
help.
right? All right, how about the motorcade? Hit the road to take on the Boston Celtics here. We're going to pick this one up early in the fourth quarter. The Pistons up by 6. Cunningham drives, knocks down that midi.
Smooth.
Oh, midi.
By the way, y'all should have seen Danny's face when he said smooth.
I know. He looked disgusted.
Stank face.
Okay, Cuzzo.
Hello.
That's a green boy right there.
Yeah, one of the Green brothers still getting
We're
up
not
like
related,
that.
though. We're not related.
Dunking it all over Derek
I
White.
could never do that. I could never.
Big 3 nominee. Maybe we're going to see this again later in the show. And then minutes later, the Celtics down by 9 here. Derek White kicks it over to Jalen
He's been
Brown.
cooking, y'all.
Create space, let him
He's
cook.
been
He should be
cooking.
in the MVP conversation.
Well,
I mean, this is the
34
Boston team.
points so far for him.
I love my guy,
Derek
JB.
White,
Nobody expected him to be top 3 in the East.
that's true.
And
31 for Derek White. To
But
cut the
also,
lead to
speaking
3.
of MVP conversation,
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Killer Cade.
Cade, on the other
Nasty.
hand, ISO crosses spins, Chiney.
did you know he's number 2 in clutch time points in the NBA
Mr.
behind
Clutch.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP? Put some respect on that name. Boom, boom.
What a move from Cunningham. Ices the game with that one. Rev your engines. He had 32 points, 10 assists, 6 of 10 from 3-point range. Now, the Pistons, they trailed by 12, and they came back to win. They improved to 8-3 when trailing by double digits
Wow.
this season. That's the most in the NBA, and that's the kind of grit you're going to need to win some playoff series.
Wanna try to post at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here, feeling fun.